United States. Which is hands, violation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Go on tonight, Jeff.
First, this evening is our department head updates. Chief Clint.
It shows on the handout, no game that John doesn't have. In March of this year, we did 63 911 calls, 105 transfers for a total of 168. Year to date, we've done 513 altogether calls. Last year, same time frame, we did 60 911 calls, 93 transfers for a total of 153, and year to date was 540. We had in the month of March, we did 3 health inspections, 5 fire inspections, and I'm pleading by the next scheduled selectmen's meeting that I have with you. We'll have a draft inspection sheet on what we're going to charge.
Fee schedule.
Fee schedule. Had it right there and I lost. Sorry about that. The ambulances are running well. We had our annual fire truck services last month. One of the engine 4 is going to leak on one of the drains. That has been a consistent problem, so we're going to order a different drain. He's going to come back and put that in. Our oldest engine, they found no problems on that one. We bent a rung on the ladder truck probably 5+ years ago. Now all of a sudden they're saying that we need to get that repaired, so that's in the works, and when that part comes in, we'll send the truck down and they'll get that replaced. All the ground ladders were inspected in past inspection. We do those every year. The yearly inspections for air packs will be done in May. Those have to be done every year.
When you say inspections, then playground and all that.
It's they call it table testing. Make sure the regulator's okay and that it flows to a certain pressure, and those have to be done every year. Post testing, we've always done that in-house. A lot of the other departments are getting away from that due to liability. When the company comes to test, it's done by them. So we'll get a price before we actually do that. And that's just something that we've had a couple of other departments that had some blow up hose, which is creating sometimes some issues on their end. So we try to get ahead of that.
How often is the hose testing?
Supposed to be done annually. We've always done it ourselves in house, pressurizing it. Putting that third party stamp on it would be beneficial.
Insurance companies like that.
Absolutely. As far as the rung on the ladder truck, the testing company thought they saw a crack on that. So we're just gonna replace it to make sure. And then it was, well, they have to be certified and it has to be done first specs for the place. Then we'll be in good shape. And that's all I have.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Top numbers since the last meeting, which, March 17th, calls for service, we've had 659. We've covered 7 motor vehicle crashes, 204 motor vehicle stops, and 21 arrests. Same time last year was 707 calls for service, 9 crashes, 340 stops, and 9 arrests. So everything was up, exception of last year, everything was up, with the exception of arrests. A lot more of those. By year to date, 2025, 1,998 calls for service already, with 32 motor vehicle crashes, 640 motor vehicle stops, and 72 arrests. Year to date last year, the calls for service 1761, so we're 100 or 230 more than last year that time frame. Motor vehicle crashes last year, year to date 26. Motor vehicle stops 659 and arrests 21. So numbers continue to go up. Mileages on the cruisers. Cruiser 1, which is the new K9 cruiser, has a 1,600 miles on. That's currently with the lieutenant at narcotics training, and it's been doing the K9 narcotics training. Cruiser 2, our 2021 Explorer, has 77,679 miles. Cruiser 4, which is a 2019 Explorer, is 107,284 miles. And Cruiser 5, our 2023 Explorer, 45,918 miles. The Expedition's been taken out of service. That's worked up front. It's up for bid. It's all stripped out and all done. The 26th of April, we're doing a PT test for applicants. We'll see how many actually show. We'll be doing that Saturday. 12 September, I just got the email today. They did it last year. And again, this time of year, the Ragnar reached the beach event. Race to the beach. They start the fairground. Come south on 3 and turn on Route 2 and head towards 2 and then towards 15. They're going to be doing that on 12 September. So, even though Shane didn't see it, but our speed trailer is up and running. It's right out front here. We've already got the flashing information about the bike school event, which is the next topic I was going to discuss on Wednesday morning. School reached out to us. They want to do a bike to school. So starting at 7, we're going to have a bunch of kids. I don't know how many kids are going to take in this. 30, 40 is what they're guesstimating. But we're going to meet here at the town office parking lot. We will head north on 3 to Middle Street, go up Middle Street to Summer Street to Coloneltown, and then we'll pick up a second from Riders. And from there, go, I want to say down Cemetery to Railroad or Railroad. Come out on Route 3 right by Donuts there and take a right, go north through the roundabout to the school. I'll have 2 cruisers, 1 leading and 1 back for safety of the children. So that shouldn't be an issue. Plus, obviously, we have the flashing sign. So help. 10 May, the baseball parade that we do every year, the parade. 10 May. And then the last topic is our K9 rotor, as they were calling him. Black Lab, unfortunately, we knew this was a potentiality, but we didn't put words to it. He got his head stuck in a box during training, and it made him extremely point where he didn't want to train and drop. So he's no longer with us. Luckily, head trainer had a contact and they would very quickly get us a replacement K9. So that's already been done. She's working with Lieutenant Matthews. The only difference is it's not a black. There were no labs available, but to keep going with the training that we've already paid for, we hadn't paid for, we could get some female Belgian Malinois. It's about 50 pounds. Doing great. Lieutenant Matthews spent the weekend with him, obviously. To bond to him and converted to high drive. It doesn't seem to be skittish. They've done some testing with the skittish side of things. She's not phase playing. Fortunately, we all wanted the lab, but so that's it. So no change in pricing. That's not going to cost us a penny more. So no issues there.
Did the dog lose any time in the training that someone?
So this is week 3. The first week of May, they're taking a break in training.
Mhm.
that was scheduled even before, but that week, and that kind of go back down and work one-on-one with the instructor during that week, just to make sure they're caught up and there's no issues. So there'll be no issues there when it comes to the class. His cruiser is all outfitted, so he's taking that back and forth, so there's no issues there. The only thing that's left to do with that is the decals on it, which we'll do once he finishes training. Go ahead.
I have one more question. You mentioned the applicants coming in for, physical training. Is that for the 8th officer, or do you have any other open positions? What's happening there?
So yes, that is for the 8th officer. I may have another position coming available. Out of my understanding is maybe having an officer looking to go somewhere else. Nothing's been confirmed on that yet, so I have not heard.
Thanks for the-
I just wanted to, I was reading an article on Littleton's parades that they, is that something we should be looking at as well?
I missed it. You too.
Littleton's parades, as far as that, they just want to have a price on what it costs for fire, police to participate in those parades, or like John for doing drunk during those parades.
That was
Caledonia articles, you can find it. It talks about conversation of, let's be consistent on who gets charged for parade, what gets charged. Let's do it consistently. How is that handled?
Just to have a price to show the budget committee or public.
Yeah.
Not saying to charge anybody. No,
These are the articles.
It's cost to it.
You can take that away.
I was just curious if we wanted to have that.
Well, I want her to read the information so she knows what to talk about.
they're opening a can of worms already.
No.
Well, I'm still wondering, I don't know, but. Nice to have the information.
Anything from you?
Me, I'm just, we started spring cleanup today. Got some classes coming Wednesday and Thursday, so we're gonna start grading. I got some street signs to put back on now. Better.
30? Just water bills have gone out. So, the warrant is on the new rates, which you guys will sign tonight. Water bills will go out tomorrow morning. They'll be due May 23rd. The new warrant does show an increased receivables, so if it stays consistent, then it should definitely cover the budgets, which is great, which is what we wanted. So, yeah, you can see your water and sewer bill soon.
Thank you. Eli is currently coaching softball practice. But he did mention, like John was saying, the opening day for baseball is May 10th. The pool pump install is somewhere between May 6th and 8th. And both all the dances and the Easter egg hunt.
Okay, I mean, that was the whole flashlight Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, so they did one during the daylight for the little ones, and then to kind of extend the fun for the larger ones, it was at night with flashlights and all right, that's it for department head updates. Next is point to Alan Savage regarding RK 91A rent to know.
Transparency, I've heard you read it quite a few times, Shane. Yep. Town government's supposed to be transparent. There's a law that says if you're doing business in front of us. Blah, blah, blah. You have a right to look at your deliberations and your votes, et cetera, et cetera. There are still specific things in the book that say what can be held in non-public session. Last fall, you guys went non-public session. Aaron said to tell us in front of what to the public. But he said, a grant coming from the state of New Hampshire. Can't find anything in this book that covers grant coming from the state of New Hampshire as being eligible for non-public session. Can you clear that up? Oh, why you guys might do non-public?
See, your grant. Your job.
Well, in front of me, the letter that we received from the state saying this is not public information yet, but they needed decisions from us,
Okay.
right? So, are you letting me speak? You asked me a question. Do you want me to answer it out? We were told it was to remain confidential until the governor and the executive council announced the grants. But they needed us to make a decision. There was no way that the three of us could make a decision in public since it was confidential. We took the route of non-public, took the route of reputation, because it would be the reputation either of the Department of Energy of us breaking the confidentiality or of the governor and the executive council. We also did not leave the minutes indefinitely. We said we would open them up when we were able to do so. I feel strongly that we acted in the way we were supposed to. I realize it's not clear in knowing the territory, but I defend reputation to the cows come home. And I think I've told you this. I know you don't either trust me, you don't trust us, you don't trust that Jessica's falling. I don't. The issue is, Alan, you're smirking, but we've had this conversation in private. I'm glad to have it in public, but I encourage you to contact the Department of Energy if you have a problem with what they told us to do, and we felt like we chose the best way forward.
That is there for a tool for us to use. And we're going to use it now.
My argument is that it's not covered under this, and I don't believe if I'm in any business telling you to break the law, that's what they did, told you break the law. And I think you guys should have pushed back and said, no, we can't do that, can't hold this in confidentiality, it's town business. It doesn't fit anything in this book as far as excuses for not ranking all.
We decided to use it, and that's what we did.
And I just wanted to point my disappointment, and I also want to say that, here we had more non-public sessions than we had in the previous 5. And I want to say this board, don't let Kathy Jean say I don't trust all of you. I'm sure there was no monkey business going on. What I'm saying is, it's supposed to be transparent. It's supposed to be in front of us. And we're supposed to see how you vote and hear the arguments for and against, etc. And I don't think the Department of Energy has any business asking you to break an RSA law. But anyway,
That's your opinion, and
I've seen previous boards and previous town managers that abuse that privilege, something terrible. And I think you've got to be awful careful that and conflicts of interest. I think you've got to be very careful and avoid them at all costs, because what it does is make the public think that things are going underhanded under the table. It should be out in the open. So, I don't believe that you should have. I think you should have pushed back on the Department of Energy and said, we can't do this. You
Do you
can't.
want her contact information? We can end this conversation.
Hmm?
Do you want her contact information? You can contact her and bring your concern to her. Right, so.
Thank you.
Moving up this evening, there's no public hearing. Next up is the review of minutes for April 7th, 2025 work session.
I'll make a motion to accept the work session April 7th meetings as presented.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Secondly is the April 7th, 2025 regular minutes.
Make a motion to accept regular April 7th minutes as presented.
Second it. All in favor?
And last is the April 7th, 2025 non-public session minutes.
Make a motion to accept the non-public session minutes of April 7th as presented.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
paperwork for you this evening. First up is the water sewer warrant. Okay, next is a timber tax warrant for tax map R20 lot 009. The amount of $1,260.32. All right, first up for new business is the Conservation Commission reappointment for, one is for Sam Main for a 3-year term expiring in 2028. And second is for Nancy Southworth with a 3-year term expiring also in 2020.
And make a motion to accept the recommendation to reappoint Sam Main and Nancy Southworth, both to 3-year terms expiring in 2028.
Second that, and all in favor?
Aye.
There's no other new business. New business number one is a storm update. I had two very quick meetings with FEMA. Because my house was out of office. So, we'll have, decent sized meeting this coming Thursday for city meeting. Next up is the select board member comment.
I have none.
Just a reminder, I'm passing out no more May signs
In this building.
outside of this building, if the weather permits, but I'm assuming you'll be inside this building. And a nice little sheet tells you what to do when you go again at the end of May. Why it's important to consider this, and if you don't want to do it, don't.
Wonderful, thank you. I'll give my report up next. We've been busy obtaining quotes for heating systems repairs to the town hall. And we met with other key stakeholders and members of the North Star Corporation on April 8th to talk about the building, using masons on the 3rd floor. And we'll continue to have conversations with them as we do work to the building. How we heat the building impacts them, so we need to make sure that we're good stewards of the space and have a good relationship with them. Chief Lynn and I met with Gary Briggs, the town clerk and treasurer with the town of Bloomingburg. He recently started in his role in January, so we met to walk through Williamsburg's compound with Lancaster emails. I did receive some unfortunate news from NHIT, the town's health insurance carrier. The interlocal trust experienced a huge increase in claims. Their projected trend was about an 8% increase. They actually hit about 19%. Their board advised for a corrective action for groups renewing in July, which meant that they would receive a 37% increase in their renewal rates. So as you can imagine, enough of these communities have jumped out of the trust, and now the trust is inviolable. What that means for the town is that I am spending time, much like I did in September and October, to shop around for health insurance quotes. Been doing my due diligence to immediately respond to people when they're looking for information or have clarifying questions for us to help facilitate that process. Our insurance will be good with NHIT through June 30th. I have had deer welfare applicants the last 2 weeks, but I do have an appointment tomorrow. On May 23rd, the Northeast Resource Recovery Association, NRRA, will be conducting curbside collection data requests to capture resident recycling rates prior to, curbside pickup. So it won't impact residents, but they will be driving around town to see who, try and capture the number of people who are recycling. I attended the quarterly budget hearing meeting on April 15th. Budget committee members were assigned new department heads, and our next meeting will be in July at the library. Let's see. And then I also want to express our gratitude and recognize Michael Nadu as Lancaster's Finance Director for 45 years. His service to the town has been invaluable, and we wish him well in his retirement. So thank you very much, Michael. And that is it for me. Next up, information. We have the notice of final tax date pool. The final property tax bill mailed will be November 26th.
It was
November 26th, 2024.
It basically establishes the appeal process and the appeal deadlines.
We have a zoning board of adjustment meeting on Wednesday, April 30th at 6:30 p.m. We have a termination of membership agreement with New Hampshire Interlocal Trust, as I mentioned earlier. A zoning board notice of decision for the appeal of reconsideration of case number 555, which was denied. There are land use permits for 49 Burnside Street, also for 281 Summer Street, and for 133 Middle Street. There is also a signed permit for 222 Portland Street. Next up is public comment. Anyone from the public?
One of the reasons you can go into non-public session is to, contracts, that nobody gets it, and then. Or would that have been in the case that when nothing was possible to go in a non-public?
Thank you very much. It was indeed, it specifically spelled out a grant contract in our communication.
And I think it's actually listed as one of the reasons. Just the idea of this, to talk about contracts before people get to do it, don't want to. Thank you for the Alan. I'd love to know what's going on in the background, but like Alan, I think I agree that it's much different now than it used to be. Used to be what on it. You had no idea. Yes, there's room for improvement, but we appreciate what you're doing so far. Look at the warrants that are going out for the water and so is that the new billing rate? Yeah. And I want to mention that, you know, I know you feel pushed upon quite often. Questions, I appreciate you pushing back, but don't know that it's always as antagonistic as you think it is. Or if it is, I want to. But you don't feel antagonized.
Because it's you personally.
May I finish speaking?
No, I'm speaking to you. It is antagonistic because people write to me personally. They think I'm lying with my answer. And then they bring it public because they must think someone else must be lying too. So it feels very antagonistic. It does. If you didn't come to me originally and bring it up over and over and over, but I've been pretty darn good about being responsive to residents' texts and emails. It gets to a point. You're laughing because
Why not laughing?
it gets
I'm enjoying.
Where you go, it gets to a point where the sheer volume, the sheer repetition of top 10 items that someone's upset about. And I can see why some people don't always respond. And I don't want to get to the point of not responding, but I can. And when I get pushed, I will either not respond, I will push back. And go 0 or I go 60 wrong.
Is it my turn?
I don't know, it's up to the chair.
You've got one.
I just want to say thank you for serving. It's complicated. I know that there's a lot of stuff. Do want to say that I appreciate the support.
from this. I think there are lots of communities where, and you and I know about this, where you ask for information under 91A and it takes months of foot dragging going on, and this board has been one, like now, we're having a public session. So willing to hear us, I appreciate that. The last thing that I have, is this included in my 1 minute, or? Just very briefly,
You're getting close.
just very briefly, I wish that we could encourage Eli to actually come to the meeting. Maybe he has a conflict coaching the team, but he also has a hired partner, which is Megan. And I think the original understanding was that if one couldn't come, the other would. Appreciate that. And Jessica has been very good about helping Eli and Megan accommodate their schedule, which is not all daytime, but I'm on the spending committee. Eli does good there, and I'd like to see him come to the meetings. And because there's money being spent, they do a good job.
Thank you, Rob. There's nobody else?
I'd ask you take my smile and smirk, well, that's up to you, you can take it any way you want, but you've never seen it frown.
If that's a rhetorical question, I won't answer. And actually, that's a pretty funny frown.
Okay, got that out of the system, and I'm good. Dude, that's my boy. Seeing none,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it, all in favor from everyone, because they're playing.
Brown, Byron,